introduce our speaker today. Patti Chesney from Syracuse has been coming to our coffees for a while. I'd like to get to know. She is the owner of the Treasure Trove Tea Room in Syracuse, which is just down the road. And so I'm excited to hear about her business. Keep in mind that it sounds like it would be a terrific thing to give somebody as a holiday gift. It might be a great holiday activity to go down and have tea in Syracuse. It's just a few miles down the road. It's a neat town. I like going there because they have stuff-hide equipment on the outskirts of town and a John Deere tractor. So with that, Patti, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us. I did put that on.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, it's working.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for letting me be here. And, my career was as a missionary with my husband. We did that for 22 years and 28 in full-time ministry. And we came back to the States in 2015, and that's when I began, well, we came back in 2014 and we started doing a business. And we got a small building in Syracuse, Nebraska, and we were able to put a house above the store. And so that was affordable for us because it was a small town. When I started the business, what I looked at was what my family would be interested in as well as me, because I didn't want to run a business on my own. That was not my career choice, and it was an uphill learning curve for me running a business. And so I began in antiques. My mom and dad love antiques. My sister was interested in antiques. And so we began getting things ready for an antique store. My husband and I were going to work together in the store, and within about 3 to 4 months after starting the business, we realized that antiques don't do as well as they used to. And so he got a job as an interpreter. So he does that. So right away, when my support team for the business was my sister, who was working for me 2 days a week, my mom and dad, who were there once a week, and then my husband was there full time. And within the first 3 months, my husband wasn't able to work with us. So that was a big blow to me. And my parents at that time lived in Lincoln. Within a year, my sister was tired of it. Well, I won't say tired, but she had a lot of responsibilities with her family and building a new home. And so she had to stop the business also, which left me in the store pretty much 5 days a week by myself. So one thing I learned from that is that what you need to do when you start a business is go for your passion and not for somebody else's. So I love antiques. I still have the antique business, but I found that the antique business was not quite enough, and I needed to look for new avenues of revenue. So what I did was I tried repurposing some of the antiques and to reach a different group of people, more the younger generation. And you know, Syracuse is a small town, and we don't get a lot of foot traffic. And I started in business not really knowing about the advertising, and actually I was just new at everything. And so my career was nursing when I went to college. So I mean, I'm clear off on a completely different thing. If I had to do it over, I think what I would do is put out a community survey to see what people would really want in there, and then see what would match up with my desires and my passions. Last year, I was fortunate enough to meet with Melissa Wheeler, who is from SCORE, and I had the idea of doing a tea room. I wanted to do a tea room. That's more my passion, more what I love to do, because I homeschooled my kids on the mission field, and when we would learn anything, we did it through teas. We could do geography, we could do language learning, home ec, sewing, science, geography, we did it all. If I could find any way to stick it into a tea party, we were having a party while we were doing school. And they learned a lot that way, and they retained a lot. And so I really love that aspect. And then working in the church, what I did was through teaching, I also used tea parties. And I developed an Esther tea for the little girls in the church. And it's just a retelling of the book of Esther from the Bible, and it's interactive. And so through the whole thing, they are getting food and they're getting filled up, but they get little tiaras, and they have hand washing. They have a beauty treatment. If you know the story of Esther at all, she's a peasant girl that becomes a queen. And so the purpose of that is to tell people that they are born for a time as such as this, and they have a destiny. Those are the kind of things that I use in some of my tea parties. I do the Esther tea party now as a special tea party, and I also have a Ruth tea party that I do that goes through the retelling of the book of Ruth. And so that those are very fun for me. But last year, I met with Melissa several times, and she was very encouraging, telling me, actually just encouraging me to start the tea room. I had my ideas, I had gathered my information and what I thought I would need, and she just had so many wonderful ideas of how to go about it, and actually really encouraged me. I'm not sure without the encouragement of SCORE that I would have launched out with the tea room. And it has been a joy to have it. I really enjoy it. I have teas on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. That's my special days for teas. They are by reservation, and I have a Wix web page that I use, and it's syracuseteatime.com, and you can look at pictures, anything that you'd like on there, and the specials that I have. I have a Christmas tea coming up this month in December, and that's a special time that we'll have. Usually for a tea, I have 4 savories. Am I supposed to say this? Okay. I have 4 savories and tea sandwiches or a small soup or something, 4 savories. And then I do scones, which I hope all of you got a taste of the scones. Thank you. I make those, and I do the lemon curd, which was the yellow on the side. And usually I will have some clotted cream with that also.
You make your own lemon curd?
Yes.
Yes.
And I've got that's one thing I'm giving away today is a jar of lemon curd. So. And then I also do 3 types of desserts, sample desserts. So, and then you get your choice of hot tea or cold tea, and there's several different kinds of teas that you can choose from. So a lot of times when people think of an afternoon tea, they think that they won't go away, that they will go away hungry, but I guarantee you, you will not go away hungry. And I think you'll be really satisfied. I've really enjoyed those. We also do different specialty teas like Mother's Day or Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, 4th of July. And so I've also done birthday parties and showers for people. And those don't have to be just on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I do those throughout the week. So things that I've learned that have helped me a lot actually are this class. I've learned so much through this, and I was able to go to the marketing class a couple of weeks ago. So I'm redoing my business cards professionally, and I got a new, I'm on Gmail, and I got that changed so that I don't say Gmail, it says Patti at SyracuseTeaTime.com. And so I'm still learning, and I think if I could share anything about that is I've learned the hard way, I think. I've gone to Echo Bell for the QuickBooks, which I heard about here also, and that has helped me quite a bit. I'm in my 1-month program of learning how to use the way that she set it up for me online. I had used it before, and this was a tweaking of it and just helping me to understand better. And this will help me see what my profit and loss is more clearly. And I actually do 3 different businesses in my one treasure trove, with the antiques as one, the tea room, and then Etsy. And so that'll show me which one is the best business for me, and also what I'm getting from it, and if I'm really doing well in any one more than the other. So I'm really glad for that. And I've just been learning a lot about different advertisements. Advertising has been a real challenge for me because it's so expensive, and Melissa was very good in that to help me with different ways of learning how to advertise that are cost effective. And one thing that I've learned here in the entrepreneur classes also is just to be able to see if your advertising is working for you or not, because a lot of times in the past I've done advertising and hoped it would work. And so I'm still on a very sharp learning curve, but I'm enjoying the tea room a lot. I really enjoy doing the teas, and my purpose in that is so that people can just get away from their busy life and come in and enjoy time. If you sit down over a cup of tea, it's just hard to be rushed. And so people can take time, they can enjoy themselves, and I just really love to see people enjoy themselves and have a smile on their face when they leave. Is there anything else you'd like me to share?
You've already got questions.
How many people can you accommodate at tea?
If I have enough time ahead, I can do 24.
And how much per person?
The regular afternoon teas are from 11 to 3 p.m. and those are $15 per person. The Christmas teas are $22 because I do more in those. And then the Esther and Ruth tea are $30 because there's so much involved with that.
In regards to your antique piece of this, is it strictly retail? Is it consignment? Do you do any estate sales on pricing for other people or anything like that?
What I do is I just resell. I do very little consignment. I have done that in the past, but it just hasn't.
Sure.
It hasn't worked well for me. I do have room in my basement that I can set up booths if people want to do that for consignment, and they can have a booth. Yes.
Do you use antique teacups and
I do,
saucers and so on?
and the main one I use is a pattern called rose moss, because my grandmother had that, and so I got her teapot, and through the years my family has given me pieces of that, and it just so happened when I came to Nebraska that I found the little snack sets that have the cups and the plates, and so that has been really nice, and I use those. And then I have a teapot for each one that comes with the warmer.
I have a triple question for you.
Okay.
So, who attends your teas? Is it more individuals and groups? How did you determine who your market is? And last but not least, were there any surprises in that?
Let's see, how did I do my marketing?
Well, who attends?
Who attends? I have the Red Hat ladies from Auburn and Lincoln. I've had a group from the college, the women that get together for the college. They were a nice, big, large group. And then I do have a lot of individuals, and a lot of the people in Syracuse and Unadilla and Cook and Elmwood have also supported me in that. I've started getting quite a few people from Omaha, and I'm very open to that too. The other thing that I did was I gave a tea class through the college last year, and that was really beneficial. And I will be doing another one in February. And that's, this time in February, it will just be a 3-hour class. And during that, we do flights of tea, different kinds of tea with health benefits. And we'll do sandwich cutting and put together some sandwiches. So we'll have a tasting and napkin folding, table setting, and a little history of tea. So there's a lot involved.
And has there been surprises as to, oh, I didn't think people like this would be interested?
For example, one of the questions that is related to this, and this is an assumption, so shoot me down quickly if I'm wrong. 99% female in the coffees, or guys come too, or?
Guys are very welcome. I don't get them very often, but when I do, I treat them very special and nice. We want them to so, and I make sure they get enough to eat. So
Come back and bring their friends.
yes. And really, what I'd like to see is people in the area that have business come for their business lunches, because that would be very conducive.
Can you accommodate people if they just walk in, like walk-ins, or no?
I can't. Very seldom can I do that. What I do for walk-ins that want something like that is if they're willing to wait for 20 minutes, I can do a dessert for them. I always have desserts and hot tea ready for anybody that wants that. So anybody can walk in anytime I'm open and do that. As far as the 3-tier lunch, I do have to have reservations for that. And those reservations can be called in, or they can be booked directly on Wix, on SyracuseTeaTime.com.
Have you advertised in the country register, which hits a lot of quilters and whatnot? And
No.
yeah, you should, because they're all into that. I mean, seriously. And you might see if Lincoln Quilters Guild takes speakers, because I know they would be interested in what you offer.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you.
This is an unrelated question before my main point is, where did you and your husband do missions work?
We started in Haiti. We were there 3 years. We went to the Dominican Republic for 7 years, and we were in Spain for 12.
I kind of see a couple cash cows in your potential with the business. Like, for one is, I honestly think the tea area, if you figure out how to incorporate that into weddings, like bridal showers, stuff like that, I mean, if you convince someone it'll make their, not in a bad way, if you can make their wedding more meaningful, more special, they'll draw thousands. So, I mean, because I mean, that is an area where I can see, like you mentioned with Esther and Ruth, like, you could honestly, like, I would say try and go after possibly some people who are more religious in this area for weddings, or potentially stuff like that, because I mean, the average person nowadays will drop like, I've heard stories where people drop like 100,000 on a wedding. Granted, I don't think in Nebraska that's really the thing, but there's still, I mean, a tea party versus a bridal shower, they're gonna instantly write a 0 behind that if they think it's worth the money. And also as well, in terms of scalability, if I would honestly try and mass market your homemade stuff. I mean, how much would it probably cost you to make a jar of the lemon stuff?
Yeah, most of it's my time.
Well, you could start putting it through co-packer and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd never considered that. I don't even sell that in the store, but I could.
Well, along that lines, baby showers, huge I mean, they would love that. And like Jeff is going through, the Nebraska has a, what is the
It's the food entrepreneurship program.
that if you want to market that, they have great.
It's just another way for your brand to get out there. More or less, it's going to be your brand at the end of the day. And the more people that know that you have a brand, you can start advertising on Amazon. There's other ways to get it out there.
Don't sell on Amazon, sell on your website.
Or your website or whatever. But the point is, it's out. They can be out there.
All this in your spirit.
And that's what I'm looking for. Right now, when I do teas, I'm pretty much it. If I have 24 people, I obviously can't do it by myself, but I still buy the food, make the food, and serve the food. And my 90-year-old mother has been helping me serve. So God bless her. My parents have been amazing.
I think it's a great idea
be into like, do like a destination bridal shower, baby shower or something, but if you can't get all of these people to go to Syracuse, do you have the capability of coming to Lincoln?
I would certainly be open to that.
Okay.
Yep. Mhm.
Kind of leading off of Janet's question there. For anybody that's familiar with Syracuse, it's, I guess, to me, one of those towns that you could say is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, north is Omaha, west is Lincoln, Nebraska City, and then Tecumseh. You talked about how you get folks from like Cook and Dunbar and Unadilla, some of those towns around, and you are getting some from Omaha, but do you have any plans to try and market to those 4 larger areas around you?
The only thing I've really done with that is Buy Local, Buy Nebraska. I've used that. And I've used Facebook to boost. But if you have ideas for that, I'm very open.
Okay.
I'm an Etsy junkie, so what is your name on Etsy and kind of what do you?
It's on my card,
It's on-
Treasure Trove.
Okay.
Yeah, on the Treasure Trove.
Okay, so you have three businesses right now. Do you have plans of continuing all 3, or are you kind of looking to maybe find the one that sings the song the loudest and head in that direction?
What I would love to do is, right now my building is long and thin, and probably the first 2/3 of it I have antiques, and I have the basement full of antiques and collectibles. And then in the back I have a small tea room. And what I would like to do is move my tea room out as it expands. And I'm kind of in a catch-22 right now because like last month I did a party for 23, and that's a big party for me. That's huge, and I cannot do those by myself. So I'm kind of in a quandary because I can't really hire somebody that wants that kind of part-time job. My mom doesn't really want to do that. She's just wonderful to help me with that. But I need somebody that I could call ahead of time and say, in 2 weeks I have this party, and pay him a flat fee for it. And so I'm looking for that and trying to figure out how I can do that.
You do weekends?
I can do weekends, and actually if somebody wants a tea party any day of the week except for Sundays, usually I will do it.
They tried to come to this gentleman's religious side of it. At our church, we have a full women's ministry, and we have a director of that. I think as far as outreaching and letting people, because within that, there are some small youth groups, if you will. I think there's another, just letting churches know what you have. Because I think most church has some form of women's ministry. Might be the opportunity if you came to Lincoln somewhere, you could find a neutral site. You could plan it far ahead and get some people to help you. You could probably do for you. I realize that's strategic thinking, but if you ramp your business up, and out of that, then you start getting subgroups of those women, and or men. I have to be a teenager, looking for it to be treated special. And but if you could have those kinds of scenarios where then all of a sudden you may find yourself wanting to hire him, which is a combination of sales revenue.
Right. And that's my goal. That's my hope. And right now I'm at that point where I feel like if I could get somebody that could work with me in my business and do anything that I'm doing, because right now I'm stretched so thin to do the marketing, the advertising, the cooking, and the buying, and so it seems like if I concentrate on my tea room does great. If I concentrate on the antiques, it does great. If I do Etsy, then that's great. And I can't do all 3, obviously. And so what I'm hoping is that this QuickBooks will help me to figure out which one I should really concentrate on. But I really think the tea room is the one that I want to do. That's the one I have the passion for.
I was going to say, don't let the revenues necessarily drive you away from your passion. And another suggestion, there's this place called SCC. They have a food service program, and if you
talking to this, having been into that education market for years, they may have internship opportunities where you might be able to have some work with, especially in specialty centers.
That's a neat idea. That's a great idea.
One more question.
Oh, you didn't have one? You
I didn't
had-
have a question, but I thank you for sharing your story today, because I think you made some great points. One is, sometimes when things get rough, it's your passion that gets pulled through it. So you need to be in something you're passionate about.
Mm.
And the other point you made, I don't know if they caught it or not, was the importance of a good business card. And if you can have your, instead of having Gmail on there, actually have a website on there or something,
Mhm.
that makes a difference, I think, on a professional level.
Right.
Just a couple of thoughts.
I have changed that in the last 2 weeks.
I have another place.
Namecheap.com. You can get a personalized email on namecheap.com for like $25 a year.
Well, thank you so much for,
Austin's comment that Country Register hits all across Nebraska. It's
Oh,
not
wow.
just a local, so
Country
Register.
Register. I'll write down all these notes afterwards. Thank you so much.
Patty, if I want to give a gift of a tea to somebody, do you have gift certificates and stuff like that I can buy from you, or
I can do that.
or
Would
I
I?
just call you in advance and set it up?
Mhm. Either one of those. Yeah.
Okay, grab her card before you leave. Set up a special key for some of the special people in your life. And like she mentioned, might be a great place to have a off-site business meeting. Do something different, get out of the office, take your crew down there and chat about 2019 and your plans over a cup of tea. So,
I think you should do their first all-male one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Treat the men real special, I heard.
There's your challenge.
well, maybe we'll just do that. Maybe we'll just do that.
I have hats for the ladies when they come. I only have one hat for the guys, but if you want hats, I can.
Red ones.
Patty, as a thank you, we'd like to give you our Focus Suites tea mug.
Oh, great. Thank you.
And we'll do our drawings. Now, first up, let's do, Kat, you had some